The countdown is on.
Wisconsin's where it's at.
This is ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Downtown Madison on the Isthmus. I am Alex Gravatt alongside Jesse Nelson, and this is ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball Game Day. Jesse Nelson, you were running a little late to get here this
Traffic
afternoon.
was tight on the way into the Fieldhouse. It's the home opener tonight. Wisconsin and Milwaukee squaring off here at the Fieldhouse. Can't believe we're already 6 matches into the season. This is number 6 tonight, and that this is the first home match of the 2024 regular season. There was that exhibition against my Bradley Braves back in August, but that was like almost a month ago at this point. So the fact that the fans are already starting to file in here, we're up in the rafters here at the Fieldhouse, and the fans are already starting to sit in their seats all around us, getting ready. I was wondering what the crowd would be like tonight for Milwaukee, Horizon League, a cross-state opponent, but not the same gravitas that they had playing the number 1, number 4, number 5 teams in the country a few weeks ago, and it's already shaping up to be a fantastic night.
At the Deer District, the environment was electric. There were people pre-gaming, given it was Labor Day. So everyone had a little bit more free time than
a little different.
A random Tuesday in September. But there's not a lot of Milwaukee in here yet as I look around. It is all Badger faithful.
They're battling the same traffic I was on the way in here, I bet. Whew.
Absolutely. Now, Jesse Nelson, as we prepare the Badgers, of course, they're 2-3. The season didn't get off to the start that they quite expected.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers are 3-3.
Yep.
Maybe is about where we would expect them to be. Last time it was a little bit more of an aggressive game. What do you expect to see today, and what can we learn as the Badgers face a Horizon League team?
Common opponent in Stanford. Stanford made a little pit stop and played UW Milwaukee at their place when they were in town to play those Fiserv Forum matches a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know what we can take away from that. Both teams lost to Stanford. Wisconsin a little more tightly than Milwaukee did. Look, Wisconsin needs a get-back game right now. Because 2-3, like the losses, sure, they come against teams that were, top ranked in the country. Texas, dominant team, reigning national champions. Stanford, perennial powerhouse. Louisville out of the gates, clearly a top 5 team that's going to compete for a potential national championship this year. Those are all great tests out of the gate. But Kelly Sheffield and the players on the team say that, yes, all of this is great if you can build towards something at the end of the season. What concerned me more was going 5 sets against TCU and Baylor over the weekend of the Big Ten, Big 12 Challenge. And it's great that Wisconsin won those matches, but the fact that they had a big lead on TCU and looked like they were going to close that thing out early, and it ends up going 5 sets and they barely get the victory on Friday afternoon. And then they play 23rd ranked Baylor on Saturday night. And again, looks like they're in cruise control, winning the first 2 sets for the first time this year. They win sets 1 and 2. They go into the intermission with a 2-set lead. You're like, all right, we're in great shape here. Baylor comes storming back. The thing goes 5 sets, extra points. Wisconsin needs to rally with the final 5 unanswered in order to get a win that night. Otherwise, we're talking about a 1-4 team entering play tonight against Milwaukee. So what Wisconsin needs to do is put their foot on the gas tonight. No more messing around.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that those 2 games maybe didn't instill confidence in you. What I do think they do, they add a lot of experience, right? You are in a foreign place. You are playing against a team in their home. You get the extra sets. You get extra reps against teams that are hungry and want to beat you, right? This is the Badgers. We are talking about one of the most prolific volleyball dynasties in all of volleyball history. So you want to go out there and beat the teams you're better at. They did that, and it's providing a lot of excellent opportunities for Charlie Furbringer and some of the rookies on this team, the younger players, to get the opportunity to work and figure out how to play with these outside hitters, which is a really important thing.
So I was talking to our friends John Audius and the Hall of Famer Pete Waite just down the road here from us here up in the press row here at the Fieldhouse. I was talking to them the other day. We talk so much coming into this season about how Wisconsin is one of the most experienced teams in the country, including reigning National Player of the Year Sarah Franklin coming back in. We talked all about that in the offseason. What we didn't talk about was that they have 8 freshmen. And the freshmen getting significant playing time here early in this season against some of the best teams in the country at large venues that have massive amounts of fans at Fiserv Forum and in Louisville, and even the Big Ten, Big 12 Challenge on Saturday night against Baylor. Friday wasn't so big when Baylor wasn't playing in it. They were the host venue, but on Saturday night they're playing in this venue. There's a lot of fans in attendance for this game. For many of these players, the first pregame or preseason match against Bradley was the largest crowd they'd ever played in front of. And then after that, Louisville was the largest crowd they'd ever played in front of. And then Fiserv Forum was the largest crowd they'd ever played in front of. That's a lot of culture shock for a brand new freshman. Like, think about when you were a freshman in college and when you're stepping into a campus for the first time and all the things that come with that. Like, our experience wasn't the same as what these players are experiencing.
Now, I don't want to undersell what they're doing and what I did, but when I was a freshman at Ball State University, a MAC school, I was in the University Singers, and we oftentimes would sell out large amphitheaters to perform in front of literally thousands of people. So I know a little bit about
largest
showing up
crowd you'd ever performed in front of.
And you know what? It can be nerve-wracking. I understand why this is a little bit scary for some of the freshmen.
So I think we overlooked the fact that there were 8 freshmen that head coach Kelly Sheffield was going to want to get them in the mix early in the season here to get them that experience so that they're not getting their first significant game reps by the time we get to a huge match against Nebraska or Minnesota or any of the contenders in the Big Ten later in the season. So while some of those freshmen may also get significant playing time tonight, someone like, some of the Charlie Furbringer is a great example. Like, she's been seeing so much playing time, and in all of these matches, she's going to be that much better early on in her career here at Wisconsin because she's seen that playing time early on. So some may look at the quality of opponents here early in the season as an excuse and being like, all right, well, it's okay that they're 2-3. When we wouldn't give that kind of slack to the Green Bay Packers. We wouldn't give that kind of slack to the Milwaukee Brewers if they started with an equivalent record, however duration of season in the Major League Baseball season would be. But I think this particular case, you can look at what Wisconsin did with the scheduling early on here, and you can say you feel really good about what's still to come for this team. Starting tonight, the first of a 4-game homestand with Milwaukee.
He is Jesse Nelson, who you can hear across the Badgers Volleyball Radio Network, and Wildy and Tausch every weekday 9 to noon.
Very well
produced
show.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's set tomorrow. I got to sleep in tomorrow.
I am Alex
Wear me
Gravatt.
out here at the field house.
This is ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball pregame, and we're talking a little bit about what's going on the field, right? So the Badgers will be playing an in-state rival today, which doesn't quite have the same gravitas as maybe it would in North Carolina or in Michigan, elsewhere. Do you ever find yourself rooting for some of these other in-state teams, Jesse?
You know, across sports, yes. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that here on the ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball Game Day show? Yeah, like I've shared this take on Wildy and Tausch and the other shows you mentioned so eloquently. I'm a Wisconsin Badgers fan first and foremost. I do find myself, and the Milwaukee Panthers are the opponent tonight. Milwaukee basketball, like the Horizon League, Milwaukee Panther men's basketball, women's basketball, I have found myself actively cheering for them when you come to the NCAA tournament, the Horizon League tournament at the end of the year. Like, I love the color scheme of the yellow and black. I always have. I was in middle school when the Milwaukee Panthers went to the Sweet 16. When they won back in 2005 when they made that run against Alabama and Boston College. They had some really good teams with Bruce Pearl as the head coach. So Green Bay's been in the tournament. I kind of like what Doug Gottlieb is all about up there. I'm curious to see how that story plays out. I have pulled for Marquette on 364 days of the year when they're not playing Wisconsin. But the opponent tonight being the Milwaukee Panthers, I got to admit, G, if there's one team in the state that I actually cheer for other than the Badgers most actively, I think it's them. Like I've been
volleyball team in particular.
No,
the
across the
Panthers
sports
in general.
Like the Panthers have a baseball team that's made the NCAA tournament. I remember being a kid and they were playing Arizona State and it was on ESPN and I'm like, I don't know anything about Milwaukee Panther baseball, but I'm going to watch this game and pull for my Panthers because I'm from Milwaukee, Muskego. Let's go.
Jesse, I need to be honest. I did not know until just now that the Panthers had a successful baseball program. It does not matter.
They had a great baseball pro. They play their home games at the Rock in Franklin. I love that
Rock.
spot. Oh, it's such a good spot. The Milkmen play there too.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
the
them.
Otter Tuggers.
Or
That's maybe my favorite of other program in Wisconsin. No, for me it's Badgers all the way through. Right.
So you don't cheer for any of these other teams?
I do. A little bit. So as I mentioned before, I was all about show choir and the showmanship and the dancing and the singing. It was very much my thing in high school. And when I learned as I was trying to decide which school I was going to go to. I went to Ball State eventually, but I was thinking a lot about University of Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Of course,
their male
you seem like a Green Bay guy.
Their male cheerleaders get to wave the flag on Lambeau Field, and for that and that alone, I will always root for the Green Bay Phoenix anytime that they are not playing Wisconsin. Now, I also root for Marquette whenever they're not playing the Badgers because, A, it makes it look better when the Badgers beat them. B, sometimes they're the only one in the tournament, that sort of thing.
I've realized, like most Marquette fans, I'm a bandwagon Marquette fan.
Yeah.
Like last year they were in the Maui Invitational men's basketball. I'm like, I'll watch. They're playing some good games here. Kansas, Purdue, top teams. Let's see what they're all about here. In the down years when they were finishing 7th, 8th, 9th, or lower in the Big East, that wasn't about that at all. So next week I don't have any second guessing saying I want Marquette to have any success against Wisconsin at the Kohl Center when we're playing up there.
Not a chance.
But this one, if the Panthers were to win a set, I'd be a little concerned about where Wisconsin volleyball's trajectory is going early in the season. But I would also feel good for the Panthers. Like that's a good moral victory for them.
For me, the disparity is so great that I would feel worse about the Badgers dropping a set than I would feel good about our in-state team, the Milwaukee Panthers, getting a set. So if it were a little bit different, right, if the Badgers had been rolling through the early season, maybe then tonight I hope that it doesn't happen. Now you can answer on the poll at ESPN Madison. We have asked you, what other Wisconsin school do you find yourself cheering for most often? Milwaukee Panthers, the Green Bay Phoenix, and the Marquette Golden Eagles, or someone else? Comment below. Well, we've got the Green Bay Phoenix coming in at 36.5%.
Really? They're leading this thing?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think the proximity to Green Bay and the Packers is big enough that people are really excited about them, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bucks and the Brewers, I don't think have the same pull in like a township sense that Green Bay does. Green Bay, there's just something special about Green Bay.
But they don't do anything. Like the Panthers have been to a Sweet 16.
I know, and that's
Marquette's been to a Final Four.
I wish I cared a little bit more when I was younger, like really, because through 03 to 06 when the Milwaukee Panthers had a really good basketball
kind of
team.
the Bruce Pearl dynasty, let's call it. Sure.
I was not aware of college basketball.
Yeah.
I was young. I wasn't a big basketball guy. I was starting to get into football, right? I always have been, but it just wasn't.
One of my first NCAA tournament March Madness pools that I filled out, and I remember it well because it was in my 7th grade English class, and Mrs. Veit always picked the team alphabetically first to win the NCAA tournament.
So Arizona always won?
Alabama was who
won.
Milwaukee beat in the first round. So she was out. All of us were celebrating. She was upset because her team was out already. Mrs. Veit, gotcha.
All right, well, the Badgers are down on the court warming up. They're bumping, they're setting, they're getting it all ready to go. So you can chime in on Twitter at ESPN Madison. Which other Wisconsin school do you find yourself cheering for most often? The Milwaukee Panthers, the Green Bay Phoenix, the Marquette Golden Eagles, or someone else? Comment below.
Curious how that poll shakes out. I'm really excited to see what that update is coming up next.
He is Jesse Nelson. I'm Alex Gravatt. This is ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball Game Day.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects, go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation in person or virtually.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson, and I'm telling you from experience, Madison Weight Loss is the real deal. After starting the program in the middle of August, I've already lost more than 20 pounds. With specific instruction and coaching, I'm finally living a healthier lifestyle and feeling great doing it thanks to the team at Madison Weight Loss.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 608-774-7241 or go to MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com.
Get more per pour at the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is a Madison original, brewing award-winning craft beers for 30 years. And now, it's time for their bigger and better happy hour. Every Monday through Thursday from 3 until 6 p.m., enjoy 20-ounce pints of the Great Dane's flagship beers for only $3. From Crop Circle Wheat to the Old Glory APA. Head to one of their 4 locations, downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, and East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
At Metcalf's Market, they take pride in curating a diverse and exceptional range of products. Fresh baked breads and pastries from 20 local bakeries, over 500 varieties of artisan cheese, certified Piedmontese beef, and the largest variety of local and organic produce in the area. Metcalf's Market is devoted to providing exceptional customer service, ensuring every shopping experience is personalized, friendly, and satisfying. Head to one of their locations in Hilldale, Westtown Mall, or Wauwatosa today. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
We're on the Badgers.
It's not, to me, if they beat Alabama or USC.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's how they respond to those teams.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball Game Day continues as the 2-3 Badgers prepare to host the 3-3 Milwaukee Panthers. Fans are rolling in, and they've got a bunch of giant ace cards ready. The Badgers haven't been super good on the serve this season, but
look at this. The fans are like all in here already. This is crazy. We're like 45 minutes away from first serve.
The lower bowl is pretty much completely filled. I'm Alex Pratt. That is Jesse Nelson, who you hear. And we're talking a little bit about which of the other Wisconsin schools you like to root for, or you find yourself rooting for most often. And it's been brought to our attention. We have not given quite enough love to the Division III schools in the area.
Or have we?
I mean, hey, there's nothing. UW Whitewater has been incredibly effective and had an incredible run over the last few years, and maybe they deserve a little bit more love.
How much of that is impacted just by being your alma mater? Like, I have a bunch of friends who went to Whitewater, and I love pulling for the WIAC schools, or WIAC schools, however you like to say it, the WIAC schools. I love pulling for Whitewater and Oshkosh and La Crosse and Stevens Point when they're all
Shout out Alex Stroh.
When they're on the big stage having a great opportunity to bring home a title or win a big game. But like, I mostly pull for them because I know I had friends who were there that still wear the gear of the teams because they're super into it. Like, I don't have a rooting interest necessarily. If Whitewater's on a national championship game on ESPNU, sure, I'll watch that, but not to the same extent. Like, I will seek out ESPN Plus to watch Milwaukee men's basketball when they're playing against, like, Loyola Chicago back in the day, or UIC when that was a big rivalry, or oh my gosh, when Butler was in the Horizon League during the heyday of Milwaukee Panther basketball. What a time that was.
All right, well, it's on the or the Twitter poll. Which team do you find yourself rooting for most? The Milwaukee Panthers, the Green Bay Phoenix, or the Marquette Golden Eagles? Marquette has now pulled away with 30%.
Oh, wow.
21%. We haven't gotten the comments quite funneling in, but This is a really special game day experience at the field house, and the fans are always out and about. I went to my first game shortly after I graduated, so I never got to sit in the student section.
You were a student here. How
Yes,
come
during the COVID years, right?
so-
We forget
yeah,
that
I'm
COVID did
sorry.
shut down
Yeah.
much of it, but it is always a really raucous environment.
So did you have like any experience coming to games besides last year? Like,
I did have a little bit. So I lived a block away from Camp Randall and from the field house 2 separate years, and we had families that would come and park in our driveway and in our yard. And one time we get a text. The person knew the landlord who we lived with and said, hey, can you just let the boys know we're coming in? Nebraska's coming to town, and we need to see Wisconsin volleyball, Nebraska. And so I sold parking for a handful of the games, which went to the utilities for my apartment.
oh, that's nice.
Absolutely.
I guess we talk about, the people up at Lambeau Field that park the cars and what they put that money toward, whether it's a mortgage payment someday or the tailgates that they have at their respective properties. You did the same down here.
0 full kegs.
Good for you.
Full kegs were put.
Okay.
The money was not put towards a full keg.
Understood. Nicely done.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. So I didn't go to school here. I did go to Bradley, who
Right.
lost in the exhibition here in the preseason, and the volleyball crowd there was, few and far between. It's definitely more of a high school, I don't even know, probably comparable to many high school crowds that you get around here. This is totally different. This is unlike any in the entire country, I would imagine. This is so passionate and so committed of a fan base. The gates open at 5:30 to get in here to the field house today. Early entry this year because of the new system to get in. And look how many people have been in here for almost an hour already, getting ready for Milwaukee tonight.
For Milwaukee. And I went to Ball State for 2 years before transferring to UW. And there, it turns out, Pete Waite, right behind us, UW Athletic Hall of Famer, also went to Ball State. We were talking a little bit about the volleyball program there.
That's awesome.
It is not nearly
Look at
the
you,
same.
couple
Even
of
though-
Cardinals.
Even though they are a perennial top 10, top 11, 12 is where they were the entirety of my time, they never had a crowd like this. The UW Badgers have really nailed it, and I am excited for tonight's game.
So fun.
We're going to take you right up to not kickoff, but first serve.
We call it first serve around these
right,
parts.
Jesse.
Yeah.
What
We're still learning. We're still the new home of Badger volleyball. We're all learning.
What can we expect coming up next across the Wisconsin Badger Volleyball Network?
Yep, we're going to be joined by John Audius and Pete Wade. Pre-match interviews, including head coach Kelly Sheffield. Curious what he has to say following those back-to-back wins in Texas over the weekend. Looking forward to hearing those guys on the call. Hopefully a 3-set sweep tonight over the Panthers.
I'm Alex Gravatt. That is Jesse Nelson, and this has been ESPN Wisconsin Volleyball College Game Day.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better